Greetings in the name of the Most High Yah. It's King Yediah, aka King Solomon, staying wise in life and in these markets. And I'm gonna do my pre-market watch list today. Try and get a little sentiment for what's going on in the market and plan out my trades. So we have news coming in today at 8:30 a.m. for core durable goods orders, goods trade balance, prelim wholesale inventories, and pending home sales at 10 a.m. So these are kind of inflationary suggesters, or to give like some preliminary information on how inflation is doing. So these numbers coming in good there, and let's see, like for this one right here, goods trade balance, right? So that's import and export. So that's the difference in value between imported and exported goods during the reported month. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So with that being said, this could actually impact inflation quite a bit. So the Fed looks at all of these things, let's say durable goods orders, change in the total value of new purchase orders placed with manufacturers for durable goods. So actual greater than forecast is good for currency. So all these things is going to probably boost up the US dollar, and that could probably, even though it's good numbers, that could probably raise inflation, right? Because the economy is still hot, right? So this one here is prelim wholesale inventories. So change in total value of goods held in inventory by wholesalers. So actual less than forecast is good for currency. So things are more is being held, right? So that might be a little bad right there. That 1.9% compared to the last time at 1.5%. So that means some goods are sitting in the warehouse, right? So people are probably buying less, which is I guess the Feds would kind of like that. I guess, people aren't spending as much money. So these things might be flipped, right? So the green numbers might be bad and the red numbers might be good a little bit. So it's kind of tricky with the economy right now. If it was just a regular economy, like a nice growing economy, these things would be good. But seeing that there's inflation right now, these things might be bad if it's in the green, right? Because that means that the economy is still running hot, right? So going over to the US dollar, let's see. Let's look at, hold on. First, we're going to look at, this is the 4-hour chart. So we're going to look at, where is it? The weekly Camarilla levels, right? So let's see what position we're in. So we found some support here at around S2. All right, no, don't want that. Want this. All right. So at S2 we found some support right there above S3, right? So we had that pullback, and now we push back up to the pivot and R2 level, right? That's that blue line right there and the gray line, and that's also that red line is also accumulation distribution. This is my quantum dynamic accumulation and distribution line, and that's a resistance line. So every time it gets hit, it shows a number that increases every time it gets hit. So right now it's at 5. So 5 times we've hit this resistance, and every time it hits, it gets a little thicker. So right now you could see that there's actually a support line there as well, and that has been hit. Let's see if we could find that number. Right, that's been hit 10 times, right? Let's show that right there. That's the number right there. That's been hit 10 times, and it's a little thicker than that other one. So let's see, bring this back down. Right, so we're looking like we're kind of in a little downtrend right here on the US dollar. Still getting some wick rejections right here at the pivot level on the weekly Camarilla levels. Did get some support here on this candle, nice volume and stuff like that. So if we do get a push past these this level right here and above the 38% monthly fib line, we could see some bearishness in the market today. And we had some, well, anyway, when we get to the NQ1, the futures chart, I'll show you why I think the US dollar might rise right now, because height breaks are coming this afternoon at 2 p.m. so that might start getting priced in. So let's see. All right, so that's looking at the weekly cams. Let's look at the central pivots. All right, so the central floor pivots are in a overlapping higher value level. Right, this was the prior levels right here, and this is the BC. Well, that was the BC right there. This is the TC, and this is the BC now, and this is the TC right now. So we've hit these levels, found support at this bottom central pivot, and we're pushing up above the top central pivot. So this is a bullish setup right now in the US dollar when it comes to the central floor pivots, right? So, well, it's moderately bullish, so it's an overlapping higher value, right? So let's go to the money zone. Right, so the money zone is also in an overlapping higher value level. So yesterday the value area low was here, the value area high was here. Now we have the value area low today right here in the middle. This is the volume point of control area in the money zone, right? And now we have the value area low right here in kind of in value of the previous day, and we have the value area high. Let's see, it's probably behind this this pivot level right here. I mean, sorry, this 38% level is probably behind that, because this is the volume point of control right now. Hold on. Right, so that's the volume point of control area right there at that support accumulation distribution line, and we're pushing up into the volume point of control, and the value area high is probably right there, because you can't see it right now because it's probably behind that 38% level. So it's right on the 38% level, so it's a overlapping higher value. We found support here just before the value area low. So yeah, that's looking kind of bullish right there. So it's looking, everything is looking kind of moderately bullish on the US dollar, right? So let's look at the volume points of control. Let's see, where's the money zone? Take that off. Right, so this is the value area right now. That's the volume points of control. That dash, that dotted white line right there, that's where all the volume has taken place so far, and we're getting rejections off of that, but we're pushing back up into it right now. So if we get a break above this level right here, and also that red line is a value high volume node, sorry. So if we get a breakout all around this level and the 38% level, we could see some real movement, a breakout in the US dollar. And with this being an overall moderately bullish kind of setup, we have a nice volume coming in here. Nice kind of hammer candle-ish kind of candle right there. We could see some upward movement, but probably not until the Fed, like the Fed minutes come out, you'll see some real movement. So we could start getting some rejection right there at this level again. But it depends. Let's see what's going on at the open, right? So let's switch over now to the NQ1. This right here is my commodities chart. Just taking a quick look at the commodities. We have Thomson Reuters core commodities CRB. That's pushing up. Let's see, gold is kind of in the middle right here, just consolidating. Steel has found some support at R3, kind of pushing up, kind of like a ABCD pattern. Let's see, oil is looking like it wants to sell off a little bit from this this pullback consolidation. Looks like it wants to sell off. Copper is looking like it wants to sell off, so that's an indicator of sentiment. If copper is pulling back, that means it's risk off, so keep that in mind. Random length lumber futures, that's looking like it wants to sell off, so maybe construction is slowing down a little bit. So let's go over to the NQ1, go over to the 4-hour chart, pull out the weekly pivots, mute everything else except the accumulation distribution. All right, so let's see, I'll mute the VWAP. Right, so only leave the anchored VWAP from the beginning of the year, which is this green line right here. So we're above support, right? And let's see, this is the weekly S3 right here. So we sold off and got back above this S3 level right there, the red line, but we ran into the pivot level, which is the blue, and this S1 level right here, right? So we got some rejection going on there. We started rejecting at this level right here, had another wick rejection, big wick rejection right there at the pivot. And to me, this is setting up, and this right here, this candle is a kind of like a what do they call it, man? I think it's like a tombstone candle or something like that. So after a candle like this, and you get in this kind of candle right here, that's a bad sign right there. That could be indicative of like a sell-off. So we could pull back to like S3, or even come back to this lower VWAP area right here, this green line, or even yesterday's close right here at 12112.50. So the way the US dollar is set up, I'm thinking that this might sell off a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because yesterday, looking at it, it was like all this support right here wasn't on great volume, right? This wasn't on great volume. This candle is definitely anomalous, right? There's no volume there. All of this happened in the I guess in the Asian and London session of the futures. So we started seeing that rejection right there already. So volume is actually rising now, right? But we're still in this kind of indecisive nature in these candles, right? These are not good candles for a bullish formation right there. So we could have some sell-off going on right now. The stocks might look like they gapped up a little bit, but you could get that sell-off. So let's see. Looking at the Camarilla levels right now on the daily, go down to the 30-minute chart and see what kind of setup we got. So we have a lower value relationship in Q1 futures. All right, so let's see, let's put this together. All right, so R3 was here yesterday, S3 was here. Now we have R3 right here and S3 right here. So that's a lower value right there. But we do have a gap up, right? But as I was saying, the gap up right now is looking anomalous, right? We have this volume pointer, this volatility triggers going off here. And according to quantum trading, this is Anna Cooling's indicators. So when this happens, you definitely get this kind of sideways movement, right? And it's like I was saying, we're rejecting at certain points, like this point right here, we're starting to reject like R5. We have this heavy accumulation distribution levels. This got hit 9 times, this one got hit 10 times, so it's kind of in congestion right now. And if the US dollar decides to go bullish, this is definitely in trouble. We're definitely gonna get like maybe a push up to R6 and then a pullback to R3 or even lower, right? So keeping an eye on this. This is it's setting up, the cameras are set up for a lower value or to seek lower value. This is anomalous right here in my opinion, and we could get a rejection up here and start moving down back into value or seeking lower value, you know. Let's see, close, mute that out, go to the money zone, right? So take this off, right? So the money zone is in a lower value relationship. We have value area high up here, value area low. Today's value area high right here is below the previous value area low, and this is the new value area low right here. So we're in between this level, in between these value area high and low levels, and it coincides with the accumulation distribution levels. We have the VPOC in the middle right there. That's the VPOC. So we're looking to get a breakout of this level. So if we get this break here at the value area low at 12271.50, we could start see some movement back down to this this lower VWAP level right here, lower VWAP line, right? So I'm keeping an eye on that. Let's see, go over to, where's the central pivots, right? So the central pivots, it was a narrow setup yesterday, narrow range, and now we have a lower value with a it's a wider range, right? So totally lower value. This is the BC on top there, that's the TC at the bottom. Sometimes they're kind of flipped, so that's top central pivot, that's bottom central pivot, but sometimes how they're calculated, they end up kind of flipped, and that's the central pivot right there, the blue. So at the open of yesterday, we didn't touch these central pivots at all, so that's a good sign for like bullishness, right? So if it doesn't, but these central pivots often attract price, right? So if you look at this setup right here in conjunction with the money zone, right? Remember I was saying that we could get like a pullback right here. We could get like a rejection even if you turn on the Camarilla levels, if everything is turned on, right? Let me just unmute that. If we start getting rejection at this level, that's the value area high on the money zone. These are the cam levels, R6, R5, which is heavy resistance. Then we got this resistance accumulation distribution right here. We could definitely get a pullback down to the central pivots area, right? So these are how these things coincide. A lot of people don't have a lot of things on their chart, but I just use them to gauge sentiment and create a story. It's creating a certain narrative, right? So taking all these off right now and go back up to the 4 hour and throw on the volume point of control, right? So now you have the volume point of control right there, that dotted white line. Again, it's going with the thesis of if it comes back to this level, we could get some rejection right there because we had heavy selling at this level, right? That's where we sold off to, sold off again and pushed down, right? So now we're getting a pushback up, right? This is anomalous volume right here for this push up, and now we're starting to look weak, right? So if we do get a push up into the volume point of control, we could get a sell off. So my opinion is that we're gonna get a little pop up probably in the morning, and let's see what stocks kind of coincide with that, you know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Right, so let's go to Microsoft, right? So Microsoft, to me, this is, what is this, the 60-minute, right? So Microsoft has this, yesterday we had earnings and we had this big push-up candle right here, right? And to me it's anomalous compared to the volume. I mean, look at the prior volume right here and look at these candles, and you could tell that this is very anomalous, right? So I'm looking at this right now as a pump and dump. Same thing with how I was talking about the NQ. Well, this is a lower value relationship as well, but this is the weekly, right? So let's see, let's go down to the 15-minute chart. Right, so still a lower value relationship. We have S3 right here, R3 right here, and today we have R3 lower and S3 right here. So you can see the numbers right there. We're floating above R4, and that's what catching support right there at probably like what level is that? Around 258, right? So that's pre-market low, 258. So you see it's the same setup as like the NQ1 futures. I think we could get a pop-up here probably to maybe 264, something like that, and then get a rejection back into value. Because I think all of this right here, this move right here is very anomalous. So will it be able to sustain that? I don't think so. So that's one of my setups right now, looking for probably some selling coming in on Microsoft. Let's look at Meta. Go to the 60-minute chart on Meta. This is the weekly Camarillas. Same thing. We got this this push up on volume right here. The volume came in a little bit, right? But volume is lower than these candles, and look at this candle compared to that candle. So this is anomalous to me. We're starting to get some wick rejections right there, and now we're kind of pulling back a little bit. So this one is even looking a little better than Microsoft for some selling, right? Because we're already pushing down a little bit. Wait, hold on. We're already, come on. Right, so we're already pushing down. We could get a retest right here at upper VWAP. Let me see, what level is that? 163.23. If we get a push up there and then we get the fail from there, we could come back all the way down and reclaim yesterday's close, right? Which is 159.20. So I'll be kind of looking at this kind of setup right now for probably some selling going in, looking at price kind of catering for the rate hikes today on the US dollar. The US dollar might start moving up at the open, because I guess everybody would probably, the pullback on the US dollar, we'd probably everyone has, you know, gathered their position looking for a push up on the US dollar. Let's see. Right, so with this support coming in here again, that's heavy volume, that's support right there. We have the volume point of control to contend with, and we could get a push up from here, right? Or we could just, you know, sell off going into the meetings, right, for the rate hike. So it depends on what the US dollar is doing. The stock market will you know, follow in the inverted fashion, you know. All right, y'all, so that's my little pre-market watch list, market sentiment, gauging market sentiment, and formulating my little plan on Meta and MSFT, Microsoft. All right, y'all, trade safe and stay blessed.